Today, the MAGA justices on the Supreme Court released a decision on the convicted felon's immunity case. And it's even worse than we thought. They decided that he has immunity for things he did while in office, which means he can get away with a lot more. And this matters because it gives him and future presidents the power to take away our most fundamental freedoms without being held accountable. Think about it this way. If the president can break the rules and not get punished, what is going to stop him from doing whatever he wants? This decision means that the president could do terrible things, like order a military coup or take bribes without any accountability. This is a big problem for our country, and it makes the upcoming election even more important. If the convicted felon becomes president again, he'll have more power and fewer rules to follow. And remember, this is the man that wanted to be a dictator on day one. The MAGA justices have given the convicted felon and future MAGA presidents the ability to attack political rivals, mess with elections, and even use the military to stop people from protesting. Basically, the MAGA majority on the Supreme Court has given the president the powers of a king. For the longest time, it seemed like the worst thing the Supreme Court could do was delay this trial. But today's decision goes beyond delay. The 6 Republican-appointed justices on the Supreme Court decided that a former president has total immunity for official actions. And instead of saying that trying to overthrow the government is an official action, they sent the case back to a lower court judge, Judge Tanya Chutkan. What does this mean? This means more delays, more rulings, and more appeals. And this whole case might end up again before the Supreme Court if the prosecution is not shut down completely. This ruling today doesn't just delay the convicted felon's trial. It has huge consequences. It gives the president the power to act like a king. Former President Richard Nixon once said, "When the president does it, that means it's not illegal." Today, the MAGA justices have turned that idea into law. And yes, there are reasons to be careful about prosecuting former presidents, but the court's ruling gives future law-breaking presidents a manual on how to do it. Work only with other government employees, and you will never be held accountable. The MAGA justices ruled that courts cannot question the president's motives and that a jury cannot learn about other parts of a criminal plan that involve official acts. Now, I do have to say that Judge Amy Coney Barrett disagreed with this point, saying that juries should consider the context of a criminal act. But Justices Samuel Alito and Clarence Thomas did not step away from this case, even though they have clear conflicts of interest. If you want to know more, learn about how Ginny Thomas was involved in trying to overturn the 2020 election and organizing the January 6th insurrection. The votes from Justice Alito and Justice Thomas were crucial in preventing jurors from knowing exactly what happened in the attempt to overthrow the Constitution. Now let's remember, the founders of this country made it very clear that presidents have no special immunity. Today's ruling undoes the limits on presidential abuse of power that were put in place since the 1970s. What the MAGA Supreme Court did is outrageous, and it's deeply damaging to our democracy. They delayed the case very conveniently, and then they released their decision when it helps the convicted felon. So what do we need to do? Democrats must call out the court's actions forcefully. This ruling creates a law-free zone around the president. As Justice Sonia Sotomayor said today, it allows future presidents to act above the law. So, today's decision makes the election even more critical. Highlighting the threat posed by these MAGA justices is going to help us rally voters. We cannot let this decision today make us feel hopeless, because then they win. We have the power to demand justice. And more importantly, we have the power to act. So this year, we must turn out like never before, because this is our chance to be the ultimate jury and make sure that the convicted felon never gets back in the Oval. Democracy is at stake in this election, and today's ruling makes it even more clear than ever before. I know you're pissed. I know you're frustrated. Take a couple of days, recharge, and let's get ready to fight back. Remember, your voice is your vote. We need to protect our freedoms, protect our families, and protect our future. And one other thing, I'm not a lawyer, but I do have several reputable sources of information that you can check out underneath the description of this video in my YouTube channel.